Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our virtual seminar, Senior Scam Stopper. Thank you so much for your time and your interest in this program. I'm Mallory. I'm the Health and Wellness Coordinator at the City of Santa Clara Senior Center. I manage our health and wellness program, and we provide free health navigation and care management to adults 50 and up in our city. I'd like to remind you that your mics are muted since we have so many people attending today. And if you have a question for the panel, please put your question in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. I am recording today's presentation and I'll post it on the Santa Clara Senior Center's webpage in about a week. I sent you a reminder this morning via email, and the link to our webpage is at the bottom of that message. And now it is my pleasure to introduce today's panel. We're so appreciative of your time, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Just to tell you quickly who's here, our first presenter is Kevin Duraway, who joined the Contractor State License Board in February of 2019. He's an Information Officer 1, and he handles press inquiries, social media, and outreach for CSLB. Kevin also helps prepare quarterly live streams of the CSLB board meetings. And before that, you may have heard Kevin spent nearly 20 years in the TV journalism industry. Next, we'll hear from Jackie Wiley, who started her career as a target outreach specialist with the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation in the Enforcement Division, serving on the front lines of consumer services. Since 2001, she's dedicated her work in the community, frequently speaking on financial literacy topics to inform older adults on how to recognize the warning signs of financial and investment fraud and scams, also mortgage and foreclosure frauds, and to help consumers of all ages in making informed financial decisions. And then our third panelist is Mary Beth Bukowski. Mary Beth has been an outreach analyst in the Community Relations and Outreach branch of the California Department of Insurance for over 6 years. Those initials are CDI, and it's the largest consumer protection agency in the state. And California is the largest insurance market in the United States and the 4th largest insurance market in the world. That was interesting. I didn't know that. So thank you, everybody. It's nice to meet you. And Kevin, you are on in 3, 2, 1.
Great. I love the countdown. Good morning, everyone. And thank you to Santa Clara Senior Center for this opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Again, my name is Kevin Duraway from Contractor State License Board. And thanks for joining us this morning for the Senior Scam Stopper. So why do we do these? Why do we do Senior Scam Stoppers? Well, first, let me tell you about Contractor's Board. Contractor State License Board, we protect our California consumers by licensing and regulating the state's construction industry. We actually license more than 290,000 contractors in 45 different classifications. When I say classification, I mean like General B, who build homes, fencing, concrete, those kind of things. Unfortunately, unlicensed individuals do target seniors. Seniors are very trusting, which makes them more vulnerable to scams. Unlicensed individuals will try to manipulate seniors and establish connections with you and take advantage of you that way. Some of the biggest scams that we see at Contractor State License Board involve unlicensed individuals asking for an unusually large down payment. Many people don't know this, but under California law, the down payment for any home improvement construction project may be no more than 10% or $1,000, whatever's less. Sometimes we learn a lot from just what we see in the national headlines, and this one really caught my attention. A North Carolina man got 10 years, sentenced to 10 years after stealing $3 million from seniors on home repair schemes. In this story, he would ask seniors to leave the 2 lines of the checks empty, and then he would go ahead and fill those lines in with his wife's name, and then she would deposit those funds into a different account. This unlicensed individual also would come back to seniors seniors who might not remember they had already paid and asked for another check, which is another big fraudulent scam. Also, according to court documents, this swindler also didn't complete any of the work he was contracted to do. And prosecutors say that this scammer would form relationships with his victims, senior victims, often calling them mama or papa. Some of the other scams we see at Contractor State License Board involve door-to-door sales and pressure tactics. This might be you get a knock on the door from someone who's in your neighborhood and saying, "Hey, I got extra material on my truck and I can help put in a brand new sod for your lawn today for only $200 bucks. It's a great deal for you." Well, the problem is you don't know what is on this person's truck. You don't know if they're licensed, and you don't even know how good of a job they're going to do. Often what happens is they'll take the money up front from you and they'll drive off without doing any work at all. Another example of a common scam is a scare tactics. Someone will knock on your door and offer you a free home inspection. So you let them in and, thinking this is a great deal for me. All of a sudden they start noticing all these problems with your house. You have a leaky faucet, you have cracks in your wall that are linked to your foundation, all kinds of problems. Then they put pressure on you to work with them right away and give them money to make those repairs you might not even need. Other common scams involve verbal agreements. You never want it to be your word versus their word situation, because the prices of materials, they can sometimes change during the job, especially in post-pandemic here. All the prices of materials are constantly going up and down. You want to get everything in writing, as much as possible in writing in a contract. You never want to pay these contractors in cash. Please pay with a check and save a copy of the check in your project file. Just think of those seniors who were scammed in North Carolina. If they would have paid with a check and saved a copy of that check, they could go back and say, you know what? I paid you last Wednesday. I have a copy of that check in my project file. The project file can just be a manila folder where you keep all the stuff for this home improvement project. So what can you do if you've been scammed? Well, please call CSLB for a complaint form. You can call 1-800-321-CSLB-2752. You can also go to our website and click File a Complaint. It's good to know that seniors have 4 years from the date of construction to file a complaint. So if you had work done last summer that is really not up to your standards and you're still upset about it, you can still file a complaint with CSLB. You should also know that you have 5 days to cancel a contract. This is special protections for seniors. And when I say seniors, that's age 65 and older. And that protects you from those kind of pressure tactics I was talking about a little earlier. Here's an example of our website of the big icon that you can click on to file a complaint with CSLB. So why should you use a licensed contractor? Well, our licensed contractors have passed trade and law exams, and they've undergone background checks. Our licensed contractors are also required to hold $15,000 contractor bonds and have workers' compensation insurance for all employees. That is critical because workers' compensation insurance covers worker injuries while they're on the job, which protects homeowners. If they're not carrying workers' compensation insurance and one of their employees gets hurt on the job, you may be liable for that worker's injuries. So it's very important to make sure if they have employees that they have workers' compensation insurance, something that you can see on our website when you look up the contractor. So why should you use a licensed contractor? You get greater consumer protection. You have more options. We can step in and help with negotiation, mediation, and arbitration. These services are free to you. California law also requires the use of licensed contractors for any home improvement job that costs $500 or more. So it's really easy now to find a licensed contractor in your area. We usually recommend you ask your friends and family first if they have recommendations, and then check those license numbers from those recommendations. You can also find contractors in your area by using the CSLB's Find My Licensed Contractor tool on our website. You can also get this information by calling our call center at 1-800-321-2752. Here's an example of the Find My Licensed Contractor button on our website. You simply click on that and you can put in your city or zip code and choose from the drop-down menu what type of contractor you're looking for, whether it's fencing or concrete or swimming pools. And it'll give you a list of contractors in your zip code that are willing to work with you. You can download or print this information, and it gives it to you in a random order, and you can just start working on making some phone calls. The reason I'm asking you to make those phone calls is because you want to get at least 3 bids in writing from different contractors to get an idea of the market, the price you should be paying for this job. Ask for references when you meet these contractors and check them. If you can, check their work in person, that's great. When you meet these contractors in person, ask to see their pocket license. It will be a laminated card like this, similar to the size of a credit card. And I want you to compare that pocket license with a picture ID like a driver's license. This confirms a contractor's identity. Unfortunately, we do have unlicensed individuals who steal other contractors' license numbers. Another reason to get 3 bids, when you're getting those 3 bids, ask the contractors if they're planning on having employees. If they have employees, they need to have workers' compensation, like we talked about earlier. Never feel pressured to make a decision. If you feel like you're getting put under pressure, then that contractor is probably not a good person to work with. Tell the contractor you're getting at least 3 bids. And when you're getting these 3 bids, don't sign anything. It's not a contract. You're just getting an estimate. When the thing you will sign, which is a written contract, there are some things that should be on that contract. Only the contractor who holds a license or a registered home improvement salesperson, HIS, can negotiate and sign a contract. Please be careful with electronic contracts. Those can be edited after you sign. You must be given a written copy of the contract that's signed by you and the contractor before work begins. The contract should have something called a progress payment schedule. That really determines you should only be giving the contractor half of the money when half of the job is completed. Money is your leverage when you're working with a contractor. That way you don't give them too much money up front and then they walk away with an unfinished job and you lose a lot of money. The contract should also include any subcontractors or material suppliers that the contractor is using, so you can make sure that those individuals have been paid. You can avoid mechanics lien situations. The written contract should also include a start and completion date, so you have an idea of how long this project is going to take you. And it will also include any kind of change orders in writing. So that's when the cost of materials changes or any kind of items with the project changes. Those need to be made in writing, and both you and the contractor need to sign those change orders. We get a lot of solar problems as well at CSLB. We have a solar task force and a solar smart page on our website and a new complaint form to improve response. Oh, I just lost my screen. So some things you want to ask yourself before you start with solar. You want to ask if solar is right for you. How much more time are you going to spend in your home? You want to probably be spending at least another 5 years in your home for solar to really pay off for you. You're probably going to need to ask yourself too which direction your roof is pointing. You may not get the full benefits of solar if your roof is pointing in a different direction than the sun. You also want to do the math with solar, and by looking at your monthly utility statements, figure out how much this solar system is going to cost to put on the top of the roof of my home, and when am I going to break even and actually start saving money on my utility bill. Some things you should keep in mind with solar is not free. Depending on what the salesperson might tell you, it's never free. You'll want to be aware of financing programs with the names like PACE, Hero, Chief, or Real type of loans. They often have high interest rates and they're also tied into your property taxes. You can get in some really sticky situations there. In a couple of years down the line, all of a sudden the interest rates might change. You'll have problems selling your home, refinancing your home due to these kind of financing programs. Please protect yourself when doing solar, just like any other project. Make sure you have control over the payments, get everything in writing. When you're doing solar, you'll get something called a financing estimate and disclosure document. If you're not getting that, then chances are you're not working with a good solar licensed contractor. That should spell out everything for you as far as how much this solar system will cost. You'll also want to read the contract carefully. Please remember to hire licensed contractors through CSLB using the Find My Licensed Contractor tool on our website. And if you're getting those recommendations from friends and family, make sure you check the license before you work with them using the instant license check on our website or by calling 1-800-321-CSLB. You can literally type in the contractor's license number and it will tell you everything, whether they have complaints filed against them, whether their license is active and in good standing, and whether their license is up to date, whether or not they have employees and workers' compensation insurance. Please remember, the down payment must be no more than 10% or $1,000, whatever is less when you're dealing with home improvement project. And never let the payments get ahead of the work. Remember, money is your leverage when you're dealing with a contractor. And again, I'll be available for questions at the end. In the meantime, you can always call CSLB 1-800-321-CSLB-2752. You can also email us social@cslb.ca.gov. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm now going to hand it off to Jackie Wiley of the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. Jackie.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you, Santa Clara Senior Center, for this opportunity as well. I'm Jackie Wiley with the California, excuse me, Department of, oh, Kevin, you have to stop sharing. With the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, and I want to try to share my screen here, and I'm not seeing. Have you stopped sharing, Kevin?
It says I've stopped sharing.
Let me
see. The green button on the bottom?
Yeah, but I'm seeing not my PowerPoint. Hold on.
There you go.
Now we see your email.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. All right, there we go. All righty. So again, with the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, we are formerly the Department of Business Oversight. Who are we and how can we help you? Those of you that are on the call today, thank you. I think that all of the information that you're going to hear today is critical. I mean, we've all been home for 2 years plus, and these scammers are not stopping. They are getting worse by the day. So again, we are a state governmental agency, and we license and regulate all financial services, professionals and products like state chartered credit unions and banks, financial lenders, mortgage servicers, escrow companies. We even license student loan servicers, payday lenders, escrow agents, and we also license the PACE administrators. And because we have been signed into law with the Consumer Financial Protection Law that was established January 1 through Governor Newsom, we have now incorporated new industries that we're licensing to include debt collectors, rent-to-own contracts, credit and repair reporting agencies. So that's us in a nutshell. And one of the things that we do, how are we doing this? We enforce the laws and regulations to industries that we regulate. We're collaborating and partnering with other state, federal, and local agencies, and we're ramping up our consumer protections. Why? We want to increase consumer awareness as best we can with events like this to help protect consumers from predatory businesses, unfair, deceptive, and abusive practices. So how are we?
Hey, Jackie.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but we can see your notes.
Okay.
And we see like the presentation in the black screen view.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Hide presenter view. Not sure what's going on. Let me start it again. I'm sorry.
All good.
It's not, but I'm going to try it again. So let's start it again. I'm going to share. How about now?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. All right. So how are we getting our information out to consumers? We're a targeted outreach team, and it's a team of 5 of us, and we have specific regions throughout California that we are targeting. Seniors being our most popular, military, new Americans, students, and homeowners. So we're doing that by providing free financial presentations such as this one, virtual, hybrid, and we're starting to come out in person as well. We have a great educational publication that we also distribute, and you'll see that later on in the presentation. We want our consumers to stay connected. You can go to our website to learn more about us and get consumer alerts, news reports, and advisories that we put out. And also we're encouraging consumers to stay connected to our organization, to our department by subscribing, by going to our website and to subscribe to our newsletter. And we of course are on social media. We can be found on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We are in the process of revising and creating information from our current publication, and this is all due to the name change, but the current publications that we have and that we're continuing to distribute are still available. they're in English, and they're also in Spanish, and all our publications are free. I like it when Kevin goes first because like he says, homeowners are doing home improvements, and, contracting is what people need to, contractors, you need to contact his office to verify contractors. So he spoke a little bit about that PACE program, which stands for Property Assessed Clean Energy. And it's a program that provides homeowners help to finance energy efficient and water saving improvements. And I'm going to repeat that. Energy efficient and water saving improvements. And why I say that twice, if not 3 times, and you see this photo here, we have had individuals, seniors included, who have been introduced to the PACE program, and they make it seem that it's free. And it's no money out of pocket, no down payment, it'll be financed. So of course that makes an individual think, oh my God, well, I don't have to put down any money. This is a great program. But what has happened is that projects have been unfinished. People have holes in the walls. Contractors have walked away and left people's property in disarray. So I want to let you know that we license the PACE program administrators, and you need to be educated about this program before entering into a finance agreement, because again, the project is the cost of it is not free. Like Kevin said, and I'm going to reiterate, it is attached to your property taxes. We have had instances and complaints where consumers, especially seniors, are now struggling to pay their property taxes because they were not aware of the risk of this particular program because of how it was presented to them. So please, please, please do your homework. And before you sign a contract to do PACE financing or any contract for that matter, you need to verify your information. Do your homework, verify, verify, and verify. So if you're thinking about financing through the PACE program, verify the license for the contractor that you're thinking about doing the project with, and of course the lender with our agency, okay? There are people who are actually struggling, to pay their home, their mortgage. The Department of Financial Protection, we do have a campaign that we're running, and it's the Mortgage Relief Program. And I wanted to just point out the fact that sometimes people just don't think that there are options, that they're just at their wits' end and they make rash decisions. But I'm here to tell you that the first thing anyone should always do is please contact your mortgage servicer or your lender first. Always go to your resource first before you seek other help, okay? So you have your servicer first, know your rights, and that you have options. And there are programs out there through Housing is Key, as well as other organizations, one of them being the California Housing Finance Agency that has roughly $1 billion in mortgage relief funds, monies that you don't have to pay back. So just know, go to your source first, know that you have rights and that there's always options. So we're here today for the meat of this program, which is about the scams and fraud prevention. Millions are suffering from financial losses due to the COVID and these pandemic-inspired scams. A lot of people have fallen victim, and a lot of people continue to fall victim. So, you get your phone call. I don't know whether it's a scam. I get a letter. I don't know whether it's a scam. Who's calling me? Why are they calling me? What should I call them back? So I'm going to talk about some of the frauds that we're hearing about that's trending through our agency. And I want to make sure that everybody on this line understands that there are many scenarios that are created to scam and defraud us. But the sole purpose of these scammers is to gain access to our personal information and to our money. So hopefully what I'll say today and what you hear, that you will take heed to it and practice some of these defense tools so that you won't become a victim of fraud. So of course, the pandemic has brought the struggles, and many of us are home and people are looking for financial relief. And when someone calls with an opportunity or an offer of such, many have considered doing it. They're not doing their homework. People, do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. I can't stress that enough. And sometimes, let's go a step further. If it sounds too good to be true, it normally is. If you have a gut feeling, if they're badgering you, if they're pressuring you, those are red flag signs that you need to back up and say, you know what, let me take a minute and think about this. So I want to talk about some of these scams that we're hearing about. And I have a big list here, and the list goes on and on. But some of the phone scams that we're hearing about that are trending, that everlasting grandparent and relative scam. When someone calls your phone, and they've been calling my mom, she's 80, and she'll say hello, and they'll say, hi, grandma, right off the bat. So, and if my mom is not on top of it, she'll say, Jackie, is that you? She can call off the name of her grandchild. So when you do that, of course, that's the end for the scammer to run with the scam. And they're saying things like, I'm in trouble, I need you to send money right away, I have the arresting officer here, I'm going to let you speak to him, because if you send the money, they won't lock us up. There's the phone call about, the COVID, and I need money for medical supplies or whatever. But Mary Beth will talk about some of those COVID scams when she speaks. So we need to be mindful when someone calls us. The red flag sign is the first question. I didn't initiate the phone call, so you want to be cautious in proceeding and not give out your personal information, okay? The Social Security scam, or the phone call that your Social Security card has been compromised, that it's been used in a different state. I'm going to just tell you this: Social Security, the IRS, government agencies are not calling you to say, hey, you forgot your bill, or hey, your Social Security card is being compromised. Hey, did you use that credit card here or there? You have to remember that governments don't call us to ask these particular questions. Another red flag sign: credit card scammers calling, wanting to offer you lower interest rates. Be mindful. And, with the times being the way that they have been, with the struggles of finances, that sounds real good. If I'm paying 10% APR and they're offering 3 or 5, you're liable to want to go with that. But again, remember the young lady from the DFPI said, they called me. I did not initiate the phone call. So I should be proceeding with caution before I give out my personal information. Financial relief opportunities, the same thing, always offering something better. But if they're continuing to badger you and pressure you, or saying, to do A, B, and C, but you only have until tonight, a 24-hour time frame, or you're going to miss the opportunity. If they're saying things like that, red flag sign. You want to say, I need time to think about it. Take time to mull it over, think about it, talk to somebody about it, ask questions, okay, before you fork over your money. Excuse me. The utility companies. Hi, this is Jackie calling from DWP, and I work in the delinquent unit, and I see that you haven't paid your bill. Your bill is overdue. It's past due. So I'm calling today to let you know that by 5 o'clock today, all your utilities will be shut off if we don't get a check, a credit card payment from you right now. And of course, all phone calls that we receive with them saying things like this are very frightening, and then you're liable to act real fast. Stop. Take a moment and think again. They called you to tell you that. And I just said that utility companies, government organizations are not going to call you. If you stop and think, can you imagine if a person from a utility company called anybody, and all those people who are delinquent and making their payment, that they have past due payments? That's what they would be doing all day, every day, 365 days a year. But the bottom line to that is, they're not going to call you. If something is past due, you're going to get it in the mail, and it's going to have a big red stamp sign on it that says past due, payment, please pay immediately. So remember, someone calling you, pressuring you, or telling you something like that from a utility company, and red flag sign. I'm so tired of hearing about this tech support phone call, but it's still very rampant, where someone is calling and saying that they have hacked into your computer, or your computer is frozen. They've taken over your computer. I can fix it for $500. I've had people call me and say, I didn't know what to do, and I didn't even have a computer. So then why are you buying into that phone call? You're not on it. and you don't have one. So be mindful. Again, that's a phone call that came to you. Bogus copycat sites, government imposters. We've had individuals who have posed as the DFPI working for an escrow company. So a person who was purchasing a home and going through escrow, this company was posing as us. So of course they have this person's personal information and all their documentation. So that's a government imposter. We have to know that government agencies are not calling for things like that. And let's speak about the IRS. A lot of people are doing taxes. It's tax time. I just had a friend tell me that she was on TurboTax doing her taxes. And when she hit the send to send her taxes, a message popped up and said, "You've already sent your taxes." And she hadn't done it. So there are sites that look like the IRS or government agencies. These are called copycat sites. So you want to be mindful of things like that. And I want to bring it into here. Cyber safety, being online, working on the phone, checking your banking account, you putting in your PIN number, your credit card number, you're using your debit card numbers. You need to take care of that information like you would your social security card. You need to guard your information as best you possibly can. And I just spoke about securing your network. When you're on the internet, these copycat sites, how do you know if it's a copycat site, you ask? There's an individual who, I will always tell this story. She made a purchase online from Amazon. We all know that Amazon.com with an M at the end is the correct site. She got an email and it popped up and saying that there was a problem with her shipping and she needed to re-enter all of her information, credit card included. She didn't pay attention to the extension of the site, that .com, and it was .con, C-O-N. So I have this photo here, and when you know that the site is secure, you should see this lock, or you should see this S, which means secure. When you're doing any kind of transaction, shopping online, buying an airline ticket or whatever, make sure that you see one or both, okay? Using our cell phones, scammers are not just calling on our cell phone, on our home phones, they're calling on our cell phones. When you're doing something, you may want to, and you should, have the two-step verification so that it's identifying that it is you. And people, come on, let's stop putting so much personal information on Facebook. I'm so happy that you're going to Hawaii and that you're leaving on tomorrow, February 17th. And oh my goodness, you're going to stay so long because you're telling us that you're coming back on March 1st. That is a book to be open for home invasion, anything. So we have to limit our personal information on Facebook. Passwords. You got your computer passwords, you got passwords for this, this, and this. Let's start remembering to maybe change our passwords more frequently than we normally would. So let's start trying to give them a run for their money. Change your passwords. And I'm guilty of this, and I'm doing way better. If I'm checking my banking information online via my phone or my computer, I'm remembering to log out. Remember to sign off, sign out, log out of the apps that you are using, okay? So that's a lot of information, and I want to just talk about some of these safeguarding and safeguards for your personal and financial information. Simple, with the phone, it's just best to hang up, okay? Don't call the number that's left on your answering machine. Go to the source yourself. Okay, check with your phone company to block or set up scam likely calls. It's called no more robocalls, but you can call your phone carrier and say, I'm frequently getting, this phone number calling me all the time. Can you block it? You can absolutely do that. A lot of the cell phones are showing scam likely when a phone call comes up. And I always think about this. If someone really wants to get in contact with you, somebody that knows you, they're going to leave you a voice message. So please, please, please don't always believe what you see in your viewer, IRS, Medicare. Don't always believe that that is actually who is calling. Remember, I said they're calling you. You're not initiating the phone call, okay? Online services, change your passwords, remember to log out. I said that earlier, and protect your information as best you can. Look for that secure lock button. If you're on internet, email, or text message, the same thing. Pay attention to that extension. Hover over the link first to verify an appropriate known website, okay? Make sure that that site is secure with that S. And please don't click onto unknown text messages or emails. Investment opportunities, if it sounds too good to be true, if they're rushing you, don't go for it. Take your time, verify, and do your homework. You can call our agency to do that. Mail, we need to start shredding and make sure that we're not placing any mail in our boxes at the last minute or after the mailbox collection has ended. Why? We have people who still go around going into the mailboxes, or if you have that flag, that means you have mail waiting for the mailman to pull up. Maybe you have checks in there, you're making bill payments. All of that information can be captured by somebody riding by late at night and pull that mail out of the box. So try not to don't put your mail in the box after you know that the last pickup is already done. We're shopping more online. Packages, retrieve your packages as soon as you know that they have been delivered, okay, before someone else does. Credit versus debit transactions, I would be remiss if I don't talk about this. When you are using your debit card and you're swiping it at the store and it comes up debit or credit and you press debit, what do you have to do? You have to punch in your PIN number. Let's change that and start saying credit, or press the green button or press the arrow. So we'll bypass that step where you have to punch in your PIN number. Why? Because there have known to be skimmers attached to some of these devices inside and outside of locations. We can't really see them. So if we're putting our card in there and there's a skimmer device in there, you're not going to see it, and they will have your card number as well as your passcode number. So remember to say credit versus debit. Okay, monitor and freezing your credit. If you are done with establishing new credit, put a freeze on it. It's free. Put a freeze on your children's credit at this time. People look at obituaries and they just don't stop at anything. Review your statements carefully and dispute any charges that are not yours immediately. And we should all know that using a credit card versus a debit card, you have more leverage of getting back your the expenses that were not yours from your credit card versus your debit card. Check writers. I still write checks. I don't always do all my bill paying online. I have known to share information about the anti-fraud gel pens. If you're writing a check, there's information, there's a solution where scammers can go and purchase the solution, get your check, wash the check, that amount plus the name off of your check, but the signature will still be there. So if you're writing a check and they check wash it because it's stolen, they're going to make it out to themselves for more than what your check was for. So to prevent that, I suggest going to Home Depot, Office Depot, Staples, and you can purchase what they call is a anti-fraud gel pen, a check washing fraud pin. Okay, so that is really good to know. And here's the booklet that I talked about, our Protect Yourself from Fraud book, which is free and has great information, also a comprehensive resource guide in the back. Lastly, I want to just say we can help you by doing the following. You can learn more about us. Our website hosts helpful resources and information. You guys are our eyes and our ears. If you see something, say something. We have a great consumer services office. All our representatives are live. Again, all our representatives are live, where you don't have to press 1 or press 2, with multi-language access, and can help with providing you steps on how to file a complaint with us, help you verify the licensing status of the financial institution service, or professional that you are thinking about doing business with, and assist with identifying and contacting the appropriate agency if it's not within our jurisdiction. And if you have questions, you can simply call our toll-free number or email us at askdfpi.ca.gov. And if you're interested in a brochure, I can send them to the center, and you can request that at outreach@dfpi.ca.gov. If you haven't heard anything, remember, trust your instincts if it seems too good to be true, and never give out your personal information unless what? You initiated the contact, and always, always go to the source first and do your homework. Here's my information. You can take a picture of it. You can email me, you can call me, but I'll put that information in the chat. Thank you for allowing me to share my information, and over to you, Mary Beth.
Wow, Jackie, I have to say that was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mallory, for the opportunity to be here, and thank you, seniors, for sharing your morning with us. Today, I'll start with a brief overview of the Department of Insurance, discuss some common insurance scams, and then close with resources available to you from the department. The California Department of Insurance, also known as CDI, is a state agency, and we regulate the insurance market. We regulate all lines of insurance, including homeowners, auto, life, and health. We also regulate the insurance companies, the agents and brokers that sell insurance. All of CD's functions, including overseeing insurer solvency, licensing the agents and brokers, conducting market conduct reviews, resolving consumer complaints, and investigating and prosecuting insurance fraud, are to protect consumers. As a consumer, if you ever have a problem with your insurance company, agent, or broker, call us for help. First, I'd like to reflect on what our department accomplished for California's consumers last year. Our community relations and outreach branch hosted 275 events, and we reached over 166,000 consumers. The rate regulations and legal branches helped return over $3 billion to consumers due to their reduced driving and business activity during the pandemic. And the consumer services team, they helped more than 40,000 consumers and recovered over $134 million in insurance benefits. Now, reports indicate seniors, they're the largest population targeted for scams. Why are seniors such big targets? Well, because many have money accumulated in their homes, in life insurance, in your retirement savings, and someone wants to steal a piece of your hard-earned savings. One of the most popular senior scams involving insurance is an annuity. Why is that? Because Californians spend an average of $20 billion on annuities. That's a tempting payday for scam agents. An annuity is a contract between you and the insurance company. You buy it by making one or more premium payments, and they, in return, make income payments to you as a fixed period time in the future. It's often used as an investment vehicle for retirement income. It's sold by licensed insurance agents, usually those with a financial background, and growth in annuities are tax deferred. So annuities are great for some, but lousy for others. That is usually because of the 7-year surrender charge. There is a big penalty for you to take your money out if you need it, even in case of an emergency. But agents love to sell it because of the big upfront commission. If the agent gets you into one annuity and then 12 or 18 months later calls and says he's found a better annuity for you and you need to switch now, be wary. What could that mean for you? You may be hit with a penalty for early withdrawal. You might even have a tax implication on top of it. Bottom line, it's another upfront commission for the agent. But if you have a financial advisor whom you've been working with for years, and they know your financial goals, your financial picture, your risk tolerance, and they suggest adding an annuity to your portfolio, and they explain the type of annuity, the pros and cons, and why it makes sense as part of diversifying your portfolio, then an annuity can be the right investment for you. Do not make the decision to buy an annuity right away. Sleep on it and talk it over with a family member or someone you trust. If the annuity is a good deal today, it will still be a good deal tomorrow. Okay, let's talk about some COVID-19 scams. The COVID-19 fraud is rapidly evolving. Be cautious of unsolicited requests for personal information, especially Medicare and Medi-Cal account numbers. Scammers use the personal information they collect to fraudulently bill healthcare programs or commit medical identity theft. If Medi-Cal or Medicare denies the claim, then you could be held responsible for the cost. If you suspect fraud, take action. Report it immediately to the Office of Inspector General online at oig.hha.gov or call 1-800-447-8477. Other common insurance scams include premium theft and staged auto accidents. Premium theft occurs when you buy an insurance policy from an agent or broker and they never actually buy or place and bind the policy with the insurance company. Now you're thinking to yourself, how can that even happen? You have receipts, you have a copy of the policy, you get statements. Well, some scam agents, whether they are currently licensed or not, will go to great lengths to steal. Let me share our latest arrest of an agent from San Clemente. Robert Stoddard was arrested after investigation found he allegedly stole over $1.2 million from more than 20 victims, including 14 seniors. He is being charged with 51 felony counts of grand theft, elder abuse, money laundering, securities violations, and aggravated white-collar crime enhancements. This insurance agent allegedly violated his victims' trust and placed them in financial risk for his own gain. For 6 years, he conducted investment and retirement-related seminars that targeted senior citizens and used various schemes to fraudulently gain victims' trust and cultivate friendships in order to steal money from them. He led victims to believe he obtained bonuses from insurance companies that he could apply to their existing life policies and/or annuity contracts if they paid their premiums directly to him rather than to the insurance company. He then failed to place the annuity and life insurance policies. He forged the insurance statements, emails, and letters, which led the victims to believe the information he relayed to them was true. Thank goodness he has been taken into custody, and we hope the victims will be able to get some of their money back. Staged auto accident fraud, believe it or not, still occurs. If you get into an accident and something just doesn't feel right, call the police and report it to your insurance company. I'm talking about when you have that gut feeling, say you're driving down the street that you're very familiar with, that usually isn't too busy, and all of a sudden the car in front of you stops short and there's a car next to you, you're boxed in, and what happens? You rear end the car in front of you. You pull over, the car that was next to you, hey, it's disappeared. But the car that you rear-ended pulls over, the driver gets out holding his neck. Then the front passenger is holding his lower back. Then a couple more people get out of the car and they all have injuries. Something just doesn't feel right. 2 different potential fraud schemes could occur here. The driver says he's going to do you a favor by not reporting this to your insurance company and has a way he can settle this. He'll follow you to the bank so you can settle it with cash. Red alert, don't fall for this. For the passengers, they all claim bodily injury for a minor fender bender, and they filed claims against your insurance company. Now you think, that doesn't hurt me, the insurance company is paying. That's what you have insurance for. But your insurance rates will go up because of the bodily injury claim. This is just one example of a staged auto accident, and there are many versions of this. Again, if your gut tells you something isn't right, take a deep breath. Don't feel rushed and make any decisions at the accident site. Do not admit fault. Do not tell anyone about your insurance policy or the coverage limits. You do have to exchange your insurance carrier information, but nothing more. Call the police and call your insurance company. What are some insurance scam warning signs? We all know the saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. The agent offers free seminars and sites like assisted living centers, retirement communities, places of worship, or nice restaurants in exchange for a meal. The agent offers to create or update a living trust in order to see your financial information. They are trying to find new clients that can potentially be worth a lot more money to them than the free living trust they are offering. They want your financial information, and it is up to you to guard it. Remember, there is no senior retirement living trust specialist. This is their own designation. And by the way, this is exactly how Agent Stoddard from San Clemente was able to steal $1.2 million from his clients. Seniors have more rights when it comes to insurance, and it is called the Senior Insurance Bill of Rights, and the full list can be found on our website. One senior right is that you may review a policy of life, annuity, long-term care, or Medicare supplement for 30 days after you receive the policy in order to decide whether you wish to keep the policy. If you decide you do not want the policy, you can return it for a full refund, except for variable annuities. Now, what can you do to avoid becoming a victim of insurance fraud? Jackie's told us a lot of them. Check the status of the insurance company and agent on our website and make sure they are in good standing. Always answer all questions thoroughly and truthfully. False statements or omissions can cancel the policy. Do not leave any blank spaces on an application. Dishonest agents can fill in blanks without your approval. Get everything in writing and compare policies. Don't pay with cash. Make checks payable to the insurance company or agency business name and not the agent's name. Don't buy coverage you can't afford, and only buy the coverage that you need. Most important, ask questions. What does the policy cover? What is not covered? What is the cost? And what is the payment schedule? If I cancel, are there any surrender charges? Is it suitable for me in my current situation and plans? Never feel pressured or intimidated. Agents know they should never use high-pressure sales tactics. And consider having a trusted person with you. And never sign anything you do not understand. So, what can you do to protect yourself? Do not engage. Do not worry about being polite. Be stingy with your personal information. Change your passwords. Hang up the phone. Do not take unsolicited advice. And report fraud. If you suspect fraud, call someone. There are 3 organizations to call here, and the last is a website where you can learn more about current insurance scams. Next up are some resources just for seniors. Senior Gateway is a one-stop website intended to provide seniors, their families, and caregivers with the information they need to connect to helpful services and resources, to find answers and solve problems. This includes information on topics such as avoiding and reporting abuse and neglect, preventing fraud, financial abuse, and common scams, healthcare information, and your rights. Please visit www.seniors.insurance.ca.gov. We also have a number of informational guides, especially for seniors. Annuities, what seniors need to know, driving for seniors, the Insurance Bill of Rights. All of our guides are free and available in PDF on our website, and I can also send some to the Senior Center for you to pick up. If you have questions about your current insurance policy, new policy, or you have been denied coverage, claim, or canceled, you want to report fraud, please call our consumer hotline at 1-800-927-4357. We have experts that can assist you in different languages. We never ask about immigration status, or you can visit our website at insurance.ca.gov. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope that you leave today remembering knowledge is power, and you are ready to take action to protect yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your really helpful information. I thought I'd heard everything, and boy, there was a lot I didn't know about. I think you all have been addressing the questions that have come up in the chat. I think there's one still from Alan. It looks like, Jackie, you're responding to that.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
respond to him live?
Sure.
Okay, it was like too much to type.
Yeah.
First, I just want to say, don't feel foolish. Remember, you're never the only person who has fallen for something, didn't realize that it was a scam until it was possibly too late. So don't feel foolish. You're not the only one. Your situation, I spoke about it, and that was that tech support thing. Alan, saw, Microsoft, whatever, on the caller ID. So he believed that someone had put a virus on his computer. And then they hacked it and got his credit cards and all of that. So I'm just have to say, again, not believing what you see on your caller ID is key. And then I also spoke about not returning the phone call, because what you did was you asked them to provide you with the phone number to verify who they were. So again, that was an incoming call, or you saw it on your caller ID. Always go to the source. So if you felt that there was a problem on your computer, I wouldn't have even returned the phone call to them and do what you did after the fact, was take it to tech support at Best Buy. So I'm sorry that happened to you, but to just reiterate, that incoming phone call and someone saying something, or you seeing an identifiable name or organization on your caller ID is not always who it is. Okay.
We have just a couple more minutes. Are there any more questions? I think I see Terry's asking if we could please put Jackie and the other speaker's contact info again. I believe that's in the chat. Yes, so Terry, if you scroll up, you'll see everybody's information. So I heard offers of brochures. I would love to get your materials. That would be wonderful. We have an area where people can come up and find resource materials here at the Senior Center. So I'll email you.
Okay.
Great. Anybody else have a question? Okay. Well, I think again, thank you so much for your time and your effort on putting this together. It was incredibly informative, and again, for people who are attending, I sent an email link to the Senior Center webpage. And then if people are watching a recording, please just visit the City of Santa Clara Senior Center for more information. That's kind of a circuitous thing. It's like you're watching the video, so you don't need to go to the webpage, but oh well, it's lunchtime. All right, thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to end the meeting unless there's something else. All righty, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Mallory.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.